We're live now. Hi, I'm Don. This is Jackie, giving her cameo. Jackie, come back up and say, give your cameo. Hi. Say hi. I own Wickham Road Music. We want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. Sorry we were a few minutes late. We actually had clients in the shop, which is always a good thing. But we want to thank you for being here with us tonight. Tonight's the first live feed for Wickham Road Music. First one we've ever done, first one we've ever tried. Hopefully it's working. Jessica seems to say it's working, so
it's a little bit delayed.
That's good. Okay, we don't want it actually live time.
Oh no.
So we're ably assisted by two fantastic black shirts. We have Jessica over here and Kat behind the camera.
Hi, Kat's here,
Yep.
behind the camera, trying to keep it up.
And so what we're doing is it's just a little 30-minute block of instruction on something musical. The cool thing about music is that you can cross-pollinate it. Classical can talk to jazz, heavy metal can talk to bluegrass, violins can talk with guitarists, and so on and so forth. So there's no reason not to tune in every night or every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and check out what we're doing, because something we're talking about can relate to what you do and what you play. So tonight we're going to start with restringing a nylon string guitar. It can be a little tricky if you've never done it before. And it's one of the more challenging string jobs that we do here at Wickham Road. I've been playing nylon string guitar since I was 8, so I've been doing this a while. And I actually have some skills in it. Not a lot, but some. So what we're going to do is first things first, we're going to talk about nylon strings. Nylon strings are obviously different than steel because the high 3 strings on a nylon guitar are nylon. The lower 3 are wound, just like on a steel string, but their interiors, the interior core piece is different than a steel string. Unlike your standard acoustic steel strings that come in gauges, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, nylon strings come in tensions, high, medium, or low. You can also see a hard tension, which relates to a high tension. I personally prefer to put high tension strings on my guitars. I think they perform better, I think they sound better, and they certainly project more. So that's what we'll be putting on today, is some high tension strings. But before we do that, as we start to go down this road, I did forget to tell you that we'll be using the non-ball end nylon strings. They do make ball end nylon strings, but I don't really like them. They don't perform as well in my opinion, and they're just not as good. They simply aren't. They don't interact as well with the guitar. The classic traditional non-ball tie-up strings, that's what we use, and that's what we always recommend. So what we're going to do first is talk about detuning. So this is a nice little nylon string guitar, 3/4 size by Yamaha. When you start to all stringed instruments have a great deal of tension on them. Trying to fold them up like tacos. If you've ever looked at the inside of a piano, you see that it's this massive, massive hunk of steel in there that's holding all that tension from all those strings. Guitars, violins, cellos, things like that don't have that luxury to have that big old hunk of steel in there. So what they do is the luthiers figure out how to put enough reinforcement in on the top. A lot of almost every steel string guitar comes with a tension bar in here that allows you to adjust the neck. But a lot of nylon string guitars do not. In fact, my 2 nylon string guitars do not have that bar. So they've reinforced them with a strip of ebony or something like that in the neck to try and keep the neck straight. But when you're getting ready to tune or to restring a guitar, if you're going to restring all of the strings at one time, which is what we'll be doing tonight, you want to take the tension off gently, a little bit at a time. First of all, you gotta get the line drawn here. So you took a little bit of tension off there. So I went from the low E to the high E, and then I'm gonna go to the B, and I'm gonna go to the A, and then I'm gonna go to the D. Oops, wrong one. And then I'm going to go to the G. So I can still have pitches on here. They're horrible. horrible pitches right now, but I still have them on there. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to keep going until I get my strings really loose and they're not making pitches anymore really. And then I'm going to take the strings off. It's kind of a slow process, so I did it on my 2 guitars that we're going to restring tonight already, so that you didn't have to watch me doing that on 2 guitars, because that would just be really, really boring. But that's really it. You take that tension off gradually across the bridge. You don't want to detension from one side to the other, and you don't want to add the tension, or you don't want to detension from one side to the other. It just doesn't, the guitar doesn't react well. And what you never ever want to do is take your clippers and just go right across the sound hole with all that tension on it. They'll snap and fly all over the place. It's going to scratch your guitar, and it's really going to shock the guitar.
Oh, I was going to ask why.
See, and now I've answered. I answered the question before you even asked. I'm
Ooh.
psychic that way.
He gets a cookie.
Ah, sweet.
Or some champagne.
Or some champagne.
Or some champagne.
Woo!
Okay, so what we're going to be stringing today are 2 of my guitars. I have the good fortune. Excuse me. Oh, that's nice. I have the good fortune of having almost every guitar I have ever owned, except for the very first one. I don't own that one anymore because my parents said, if you want this guitar, you have to sell that little 3/4 size guitar. So it's their fault I don't have every single guitar, and I totally hold them to blame for it. But that's okay. I'll forgive them someday, probably. Anyway, so this is my second guitar. She's a Yamaha G150a, purchased in 1975, I want to say.
Wow.
And we sell basically the same
You're old,
version.
Dawn.
Yes, I just had a birthday too, Kat.
I know. You're older.
I'm older, yes. But my folks purchased this for me back in 1975, and they paid $300 for this guitar. We sell essentially the same guitar here for like $200. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. This guitar still plays great. It still sounds great. I've loaned it to a buddy who's taking lessons with us, and he uses this guitar. So I had to get it from him to do this string job today. And he was like, well wait, I like playing this guitar. I'm like, you still get to play it. I'll bring it back, I swear.
I'm sorry the camera keeps moving. I'm not smarter than this
Doing a terrible
clip.
job,
You're
Kat.
doing a terrible
Sorry,
job.
you want to switch?
Terrible.
No,
Terrible.
I'm comfy.
I'm comfy sitting here just looking at the stream.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm coming back. Okay, so as I said, we're going to be using high tension strings today. We're going to be putting on my Yamaha, we're going to be putting the D'Addario Pro Art EG46C. The 46C talks about a composite string. One of the more challenging strings on a nylon string guitar is the G string. No comments. No comments. I knew. I thought, you know. But it's getting a great tone out of the G string is always a bit challenging. Shut up. I swear to God. We're surrounded by children. Children.
I mean, we could make the wildebeest noise.
Yes, we could, but let's not. Okay. So one of the things that D'Addario, who's been making strings forever, in fact, they are the oldest manufacturer of strings on the planet, they came up with a composite G string. So you'll see, you can go with your traditional.
Oh, wait, Kat. Oh. Okay, you know what? I'm just done with this little clippy.
Okay, top one.
I'm trying. Sorry, someone's going to be seeing my hand.
Use your hair.
I blame the photographer, clearly.
I'm a great photographer. Videographer is not my forte.
All right, so we've got the clear nylon string, which is your standard G string that we've been using forever. And then they came up with this composite. And one of my buddies brought it in and he said, Don, you gotta try this thing. And I'm like, really? He goes, oh yeah, it's a G string, and he used a phrase that I'm not gonna use today, but it bespoke of testicular fortitude. So it gives you
We are after hours.
that's a nice way of saying it. Those were appropriate terms.
Sure.
But it's beefier, it's fuller, it's richer, it's not as thin sounding as the standard G string is. So we'll be putting that on. And it just gives an all-around better tone for the guitar. So what we're going to do is we're only going to string a few strings on each guitar because we're going to do two different styles of stringing. On my little Yami here, we're going to do the traditional string. The traditional string starts with the high E and goes all the way down to the low E in sequence. Now, just to let you know what I've done with the guitars before we checked in with you all, I've cleaned them, I've polished them, I've oiled the fingerboard, I've polished the frets, I've given them a good once-over. They're gorgeous, they're ready to be strung up. You always want to do that when you get the strings off because it's a great time to get them pretty and beautiful and really get a good coat of oil on the fingerboard. Because remember, this is natural wood. It's not been necessarily treated or anything. So, the thing about nylon strings is that, well, first of all, they stretch, and they stretch, and they stretch, and they stretch some more. The second thing is they have to be tied on, which is the traditional way of putting the strings on. What I like to do, so this is my high E string, so what I like to do is I like to pull them a little bit. Like
Joseph?
Okay, somebody's being bad. I don't even want to know.
Cue dad joke. No.
No, don't cue the dad joke. So we're giving a good pull on the string, because it's going to stretch anyway, but the more you can stretch it beforehand, the less it's going to stretch on the guitar. What holds the nylon strings in place is friction. And again, leave it alone. But you're not tying a knot per se, you're tying a loop or a pass-through really that holds it there, that keeps it where it's supposed to be kept. All right, so you always start with the bridge first, okay? Let Cat sneak up here. I'll take a minute. Okay, so you're gonna punch through the bridge hole. If you can line it up. There we go, like so. And it comes out. And then you want...
Sarah.
Oh, is Serafina checked in?
Yes, she did.
Hi, Serafina. So, you want the tail of the string needs to come this way. When you're finished tying the twists, the string tail needs to be coming this way, because you're going to take your B string and wrap it around that tail as part of the friction that's going to hold it in place and keep it from sliding. Because remember, there's a lot of tension on this guitar, so there's going to be a lot of tension on each string. So, you take it behind, and you give yourself a little bit of tail.
Behind?
So you've got, going to take it towards like this, okay, and then you're going to actually pass it underneath.
Hold on. Okay.
See, like that? Can we get a good shot of that?
Underneath?
Underneath that string.
Yep.
And then we're going to do that 2 more times. Once. And we do this only on the E string. We do 3 on the E string. It's just a little bit more. Okay? So see, now I've got all those loops there. Okay? Yep. And then I'm going to take I'm holding the tail in one hand, I'm holding the rest of the string in the other. I'm going to pull that over like this and put this down.
Which way did you just turn that?
See, like that? And so now I've got at least one loop back here on this bottom of the bridge. The other loops are on top, but this one's on the bottom. And that corner right there, that bit of friction, is the critical piece that holds this string from coming on. And I've also got a good tight knot on there, so I don't have to hold this as ferociously and worry about what's going on down here. Now, I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to punch it through the hole in the rolla, hola. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
And then I'm going to come up between the 2 rollers, okay, and pull this on up through, okay, like so. And then I'm going to go underneath the string. And then I'm going to come back down over here. And I take it usually back down through the gap here just because it makes it easier to hold it. And then I kind of take a second, kind of line it up and make it pretty. Now what you don't want to do is as you start to wind this puppy up, you do not want where the 2 strings cross each other to be on that hole. If you are on that hole, it's going to slide. It's not going to hold in place. So, as I start to wind it up, I'll make sure that the strings where they cross is not over that hole, and then I just start cranking it. And then I like to take it all the way to pitch, just because that way I know I've got it right. Somebody's calling going, you're doing it wrong. All right. Let me put the Diodario Eclipse tuner on here. Available for purchase at Wickham Road Music.
Oh my goodness. You got the cranker. No power tool.
I missed the power tool. I cheat. We're almost there. All right. And now we're a little bit sharp, which is fine, because again, it's going to go flat. By the time we put the second string on, the B string on, it's going to be flat. And that's okay, because the strings are stretching. So with the nylon strings, you're going to have to tune it up multiple times, at least once a day for the first week to really get the strings to settle in, because you want them to settle in on pitch, of course. Now, you come up here and you take your little clippers, and normally we would be using our Diodario Pro winder. It's a really nice winder, but I don't like to use the Diodario Pro winder clipper with these simply because this is just a little bit more accurate, and you're really working with very small tolerances here. So you come in and you just clip it fairly close to the roller. And you do that because you don't want the tail of the string rattling around up here, because there's lots of vibrations going through the guitar, and you do not want the buzz of a string while you're trying to play. It's really annoying.
Okay, so I have a question.
I'm sorry,
I
we don't
know
take
that
questions from purple hair people.
my purple hair is awesome. I know that for violin, the E string is always a hazard, like the high E, when you're tuning it up to snap. Is that the same way with nylon? Are they as dangerous as guitar and violin E's?
No. The nylon strings are a lot more forgiving with going above pitch and things like that. Where you really see your strings breaking with the nylon is on the wound strings.
Okay.
And normally when you see a string break on a nylon string guitar, it's because the strings all needed to be replaced. They're all pretty much dead. They've got, all kinds of problems. That's normally what you see. Unlike the steel strings, where that high E on the steel string, acoustic or electric, that'll pop on you in a heartbeat. On the 12-string guitars, the high G is the thinnest string out there, and it just, you breathe on that thing and it'll pop. It's crazy.
Hey, B-Tone.
Oh, B-Tone's in. Hi, B-Tone. Jacob.
Took me a minute to figure out Jacob Clark.
I know, right? We call him B-Tone all the time. This poor guy. He's like, I have a name,
I forget all the time.
That's okay. Maddie's name is Backpack.
Okay, so this is the B string. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and string her up, and then we're probably, how far are we in? Oh yeah, then we're going to shift to the non-traditional stringing, because this is all pretty much the same way until you get to the low E. So, again, one part of the string, and punch it through the hole in the bridge. And it doesn't matter. Now, some of these nylon strings will have colors to try and tell you which string it is and things like that. Make sure that you put that up at the tuners, because you want to clip that off. You don't want those individual colors showing up down at your bridge. It doesn't look good. Okay, so you'll see I've punched through the hole in the bridge, and the E string is now underneath that B string. See how it's just the B string is underneath the E string. See how it's just resting on the B string? So we're going to do the same thing we just did. We're going to come back and cross that way. Show that to you. And then we're only going to go through twice this time, because we don't need that extra loop, because we're getting a little bit thicker strings. Come here, you. I'm going to punch once. And I'm going to do twice. Okay. Now I'm going to get the tail of that sucker. Come here, you. There we go. So now I have the tail of the string as well as the rest of the string. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it back like this, and then over again. And it gives a nice tight knot. And I push this down a little bit, because I don't want that E up and causing problems, although I'll clip part of that off here in a second. Okay. And I'm gonna give it a good snug pull. And again, now I don't have to have anything worrying about down there. And again, through the hole in the roller, up between the next two rollers, ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. And then we're gonna go underneath the B string. And again, back down through the rollers. And we got that nice cross right there. We got it? Can you see it? Can you see it? It's right there.
Sort of. It keeps moving. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Good job. Okay. And then we're going to start cranking. You notice we're using the winders that are in the Wickham Road Music Store colors, of course.
Of course.
Because why wouldn't we? And we'll just start taking her up, taking her up, taking her up. Now, sometimes you'll see that you've got this tail that's going to come up, which is just fine. It's perfectly fine to go back over the tail again with this top string. It's perfectly fine. It's no big deal at all. In fact, it's just nice to have. It's not, you don't have to do it because as you saw with the high E string, this technique doesn't slip. So we're on pitch. Now, this is the E that was just on pitch. In fact, it was a little sharp. Now it's down to D. D sharp. Ta-da! And now we're back up to pitch. Okay, so you keep doing that with each string. Now, what we want to do is we want to clip this E string. It's got a little too much tail on it. So you just clip it close to the B string, where it crosses the B string, and it's just nice and out of the way. It makes for a nice, neat appearance. And again, you want to get it out of there because you don't want that buzz potential. And it will, if possible, buzz if you don't clip the strings. And in truth, even with your steel strings, you know, some of those folks like to have all the strings dangling all over the place. The potential for buzz is great, and it's going to buzz. It's just going to do it, and it's going to ruin, you know, a gig or a performance or a recording or just your time with the instrument. And you don't want to do that. So keep your strings kind of neat, orderly, and all that kind of stuff. All right, so now we're going to swap guitars. We're going to put Yami over here, and we're going to bring Champagne out. So Champagne is like my fourth guitar.
And how many are you at now?
I can't remember.
I bet your wife can.
Teresa is watching, so I can't put that number to it because then she'll hold me to it. But both Yami and Champagne have been with me longer than Teresa's been with me.
30. Oh, she says 30.
Is she right?
She said I got 30. Sure, that's a good number. I got about 30. There we go. But so Champagne has been with me since 1985. She is a Matsuda Kono, made in Japan in 1985. Master luthier. Just an incredible, wonderful projection on this guitar. It just punches out and it just brings so much to the table. When I picked her out, I had a half dozen to choose from. She was the only Kono. I had a bunch of Ramirez, and we're a Ramirez dealer, and I love Ramirez, but she just spoke to me. And as I tell folks and all the time, when she speaks to you, that's the one. So she did. So we've been together a long time, and hence that's why we're having Champagne tonight, because we're doing a little work on Champagne. All right, so you'll see that I'm not using the same strings for Champagne that I use for Yami. The string, the guitar, the player, all of that is an interesting combination, and it all has to work. I spend a lot of time comparing strings on my guitars, so I find the string that I feel best works for me and my guitar. I've played a ton of different strings with champagne, and ended up coming right back to the first set, which is the Labella PH10s, or 10 PH rather. I love these things. High tension silver, they're just great. On Yami, we did the traditional stringing, and which, again, you'll take E to B to, all the way across, and then what happens at the very end, you take the low E, and you put the tail end going back in. It just makes for a nice finished look. It doesn't actually have to tuck up under the A string, okay? You'll see the same technique on here, except we're gonna go outside to inside. So we're gonna do high E first, then the low E, then the B, then the A, and so on and so forth. So we'll be able to put tension more gradually and evenly back on the bridge, which is a wonderful thing. And also it makes for a very nice finished look on the guitar. It is not the traditional method, but I do like it. Now, one of the things that we won't be able to show and talk about today is the newer bridges that they have coming out now, which instead of just one hole in the bridge for each string, you have two. And so it allows you to twist the string a little bit differently and not have to tuck it up under the next string. We don't happen to have any in stock, so I can't demonstrate that today or show you that. Well, we do have one in on consignment. She's an exceptional guitar made by Kenneth Hill out in California. She is the first of her kind, documented and proven. She's a ruck model, but she's about $7,000, so we're not bringing her out today. But she is gorgeous and worth every penny. And if you're looking for a high-end, one-of-a-kind kind of guitar, that's one worth spending your money on. All right, so again, we're going to stretch the strings a little bit, or at least as much as we can. All right, and we're going to start with a high E. Okay. In this method, you don't have to start with a high E. You could start with a low E, but I do like to keep a little bit of old school, so gotta start with my high E. Cause you're old. Cause I'm old. Cause you're old. Bob Barker. No, wait. Happy Gilmore. Cause you're old. When he and Bob Barker throw down and punching on each other. Great scene. It's just awesome. And then Bob just awesome. Love it. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
So just like we did on the last one, we came up this way around with the tail, and now we're going to punch underneath once. We're going to do it again, twice. And just because I like odd numbers, one more time on the high E. So again, only on the high E do I do that, and only because I just think it adds to the potential for keeping it in place. All right. So, and again, I went back over the bridge and pulled forward. So now I guarantee that I've got at least one cross underneath the bridge. Okay.
Let's see.
Let's see. Did I get it right? Can you see? Is it good? That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Got to be somewhat competent at what I do. Somewhat. Not a lot, but somewhat. Once in a while. All right. So again, back through the roller. Back between the rollers. Underneath. And back through. So again, we're getting that cross, and we absolutely don't want that cross to be on the sound or on the roller hole. So we kind of relax it a little bit, and you see how it just tucks right down underneath there. Did you get it?
I think so.
Okay. And then, and let's be honest, you're seeing these are very nice tuners. They work very, very well. Of course they should. Champagne is not an expensive girl.
You mean not an inexpensive girl?
Yeah, what'd I say?
Not an expensive girl?
Oh, see?
You're talking about John. That's not very nice.
Oh! And he's not even here to defend himself. Not that he could, but
Not that he could.
Not that he could. He's a jazz player. What kind of defense kit does he have?
I could have said you're talking about Princess.
Ooh.
Oh, zing.
He's probably teaching.
Probably.
It's already going flat. So, since I have a moment, One of the things I didn't mention is to always make sure if you're going to work on your gear, get a great big beach towel. We use our dust cloths here, our purples and greens. Get something to protect them off of the hard surface. It sounds like, you know, kind of a duh, but it's just a good reminder. The other thing that I want to talk about, you see that we put a piece of blue tape here. I spoke about that Kenneth Hill guitar, and the Kenneth Hill is all French polish. And somebody strung her without a piece of tape here, and their hands weren't as steady or good as they thought they were, and he has scratches all here, which these strings will do. So a little simple piece of blue tape there protects that piece of the guitar, and it comes right off, doesn't leave any residue. It's wonderful. So definitely do that. Now, one other thing that I haven't spoken of is you may have noticed that that Champagne has a zero glide fret here. This fret placed here, and it was done, Zero Glides come from Gold Tone up in Titusville, which is a great, great company. We are their local dealer. I'm very proud to be so. What it allows for, and especially on nylon string guitars, the tone between an open string and a closed string can be very different. So for example, if I play, of course those are supposed to be the same pitch. Hear how bright that is? Hear how it's not quite as soft? It's because it's resting on this plastic or this nylon instead of another metal fret. So when I play Champagne, it's metal fret to metal fret. So it opens up a lot of different avenues for fingering choices because I don't have to worry about the difference in tone. And hopefully I'll get everybody tuned up, and then we can demonstrate this after I stop spitting on the guitars.
Ew! Corona!
Corona. Fortunately, she's mine,
Corona.
and I don't have Corona, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Okay, so now we're doing the non-traditional, so the next string we're going to do is the E string. And there are not 9 strings on here, so this must be a 6.
Oh, you're so funny.
I know, that's my dad joke. God, I love dad jokes.
You haven't done a whole lot of those.
I know.
mean, not that we're complaining.
Oh, see here, now, you know.
A little bit.
Look, some dice. Roll the dice, cat. Ooh, I got a 6.
You got a 6. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so.
And a nothing.
And a nothing. And a donut.
Well, that's a 1.
Okay.
Ooh,
So
I want a donut too.
you drink your champagne and be quiet. All right. So if you look at the wound strings, most of them do this type of winding. So you've got your normal, perfectly wound, smooth stuff up here.
It doesn't want to focus.
And then you've got that, which is a little bit more open wound.
It is not focusing. Hang on.
Focus.
It's being bad.
It's okay.
Did that help? No. Okay.
Okay, well then you'll just have to trust me that this is more openly wound.
Focused on here.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Well, that's good.
and originally the string manufacturers thought that they would do this and it would make the strings stay a little bit more sturdy down here. I find it changes the tone. So I always put the open wound up at the headstock and clip it off.
Oh.
So I like to keep my tight wound down here, just uniformity and all that kind of thing. Yes, I'm wound very tightly, Kat. Okay, so just like you would do on the traditional style, what we do at this point with the E string, the low E string, is the same for traditional as non-traditional in the actual wound, because we're going to do that way. So instead of crossing towards me, we cross away from me. Okay, so we cross this way, and then we tuck back this way, because now we want the tail to go that way, away from us. Okay. And so no matter whether you're doing traditional or non-traditional, you always want the E string tail to go away from you or towards the
Nails
bridge.
on chalkboard. Ow. Eh.
Yeah, it's not so much fun. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, we're going to go cross and pull back just like we did on the... And now you can really see that cross below the bridge. Comes up nice and pretty.
Holy cow, guys, we're closed, eh?
This is after hours. We're beveraging and stringing guitars. Okay.
Hi, Nick.
Hi.
Nick is on?
Nick is on.
He's watching.
Hey, Nick, what does SFG stand for again? All right. So again, through, up, underneath. And we just got Cat to snort. That's good. All right. And I kind of go in and just do a little bend on it, especially with the wound strings. Just makes it a little bit better finished look. Okay. All right. And then.
Hey, Floyd, don't break anything.
And again, we got the nice cross, so it's not over the hole.
So is that keeping tension?
It's friction. It holds that string in place. And as you wind it, now with the wound strings, you don't have to crank it as much. So you want to kind of pay attention. You'll get to pitch very quickly on the wound strings, much more quickly than on the nylon strings. So you won't get as many wraps on these. But fortunately, with that technique of the crossing of the strings, you don't need that many wraps. Wraps, quick.
Oh my goodness.
Quick. Do some rapping now.
No.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that is.
Wait. Yes,
Okay.
do it.
For those of you who want to know what that is, you'll have to ask Kat. We're not sharing that one. It's Kat's new favorite thing.
Nick says, Dawn, please rap.
No.
Please rap.
Don't rap.
Wicka.
No.
Please don't.
Hey, all I know is my rap name is Lib Biscuit.
Sarah says, do it.
Oh dear.
I'd have to have a lot more champagne before I did that. Wait.
Chug.
Chug.
I haven't gotten to have any because I'm holding this thing.
Oh, do you want some champagne?
I want some champagne. You want to pour some champagne in my mouth?
Okay, we might have to turn the camera for this one because that could be entertaining as you guys pour champagne.
Well, then
all
you
over the place.
hold the thing. Is that my Beethoven? Oh, yeah, it is. That's what happens when you're not here, Nick.
That's right. When you're not here, Nick.
Wait, here. You can take the camera. Oh,
I'm not really gonna pour.
People are like, I am never tuning into this again. Okay,
No.
there's Kat getting some champagne, possibly. Wait, I gotta.
Yay,
Okay, yeah,
Kat.
Kat's doing a little happy dance.
Yay.
All right.
I'm
took too
big of a-
awkwardly standing here. Hey.
Is that my okay, Sarah's claiming that that's not Nick's Beethoven.
No.
Nick,
It
you know, ownership is 9/10 of the law, and Sarah says it's hers. So I don't know what to tell you, brother.
Sarah took it out of your lesson room.
You can't prove that. Nobody saw a thing. Okay. So Beethoven and I are going to hang out and continue this. All right. So now we've got the B string. And again, we're going to cross towards us because we want the trebles to come this way, the tails to come this way, and we want the basses, tails to go that way. So we're going to cross towards us. And you see that we've also captured the E string.
So we're still doing the capturing the tail.
Got to capture the tail. You always have to capture the tail. That's what she's. Yeah, there we go.
I've missed quite a few. That's what she said. But now I had a drink of champagne.
And
so
now you've
it's-
lost it. Okay, I get it. That's fine. Not like we ever had it, I guess, but thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so I go through twice. So I got 2 twists on that. Come here, you. All right. And again, I'm going to go back this way and come back across. And you can see, if I get the rest of the string out of the way, that I've got a cross on the other side. And if you don't, you can always come back and try it again. So maybe I'm not super happy with that, so I go do it again. Just pull it back up, and I come back across. There's perfectly fine redos, okay? And up here is the same as every other string. We do it just the exact same way every single time.
So the only non-traditional thing is down at the other end.
Correct. It's all the bases coming in, all the down at the other end.
You gave me a look. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh. Bad children. Bad children.
We've lost it, Dawn.
So how did you lose all your hair, Don? Black shirts, that's how. All right, here we go.
And we come right up in there. And like I said, you get a lot more wraps from your nylons than from your bass strings, from your trebles and from your bass. Ding dong, ding dong. Let's see where we are. Ooh. Ooh, went a little high. I thought so. There we go. There we go.
All right, and now we're going to clip this tail up here, the headstock tail, and then we're going to come down and clip that rest of that little E string off out of the way. Now, take your time and make sure you're clipping the right string. It's never
John?
good. Yeah, John. Don't pick on me. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, John. All right, so we'll clip it close, and I know that is the high E. But you see, and that's the other good reason too. This tape, if I accidentally rub the metal clippers on it, protects the guitar. So it's just a nice little utility piece right down here. And it's easy. All right, now we go down to the A string, because again, we're putting tension back on the bridge fairly evenly. And this will be the last one we do for tonight, because I don't think you guys want to sit here and watch me string all of these, unless you're really, really that bored out there. Let's watch him do the stringing.
Nick, I agree. John should be watching all of this.
Yes.
What is
should
John
be
doing?
watching.
I don't
What
know
is
if
John
he's
doing?
gonna
What is
be
John
fired.
We
doing?
should text John and be like, what are you doing, man?
He's busily practicing Bohemian Rhapsody
He better
and
be.
getting
should
his
probably-
Freddie Mercury outfit ready. Because Nick, on Friday when he teaches the Bohemian Rhapsody piano piece, he will be dressed as Freddie Mercury. We're very
He
excited
should
about it.
probably do some push-ups.
Oh, he definitely should be doing push-ups right now.
Those arms were looking a little skinny there.
Yeah, they were looking a little peaked. A little peaked. All right. He's not even on and we're abusing him. This is wonderful. Okay.
That's okay. He tells me to eat a salad, so I can pick on him anytime
Yes,
I
you can.
want.
All right, so we're underneath the E string, so it's resting on top of the A, as you can see. And then we're going to go on this side, because again, we want our tail to go this way. Snuggy, snuggy.
Why aren't you going to teach drums, Nick? Why are you teaching Pizza Delivery 101E?
Oh, dang.
Is that his side job for the?
Is that your Rona job?
Excellent. Well, you know, what do you do when a drummer knocks on your door? Pay him for the pizza.
Oh! We miss you, Nick. It's not as much fun picking on you like without you here.
It's true. All right.
I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. Don, you should be working on our Yammy more.
Working on the Yami more? On Yami more? Wait, is that Jim? Who is that?
Shannon Kipper?
Janan Kipper?
Janan?
Janan.
Janae? Yeah, because Jim's borrowing the guitar, so he wants his guitar back now.
Oh, apparently it's Jim Kipper.
And Jim, just so you know, you'll have her back today.
So Nick said something every drummer should know is pizza delivery. Jay DeBella, Nick, you shouldn't take this kind of abuse. Well, if he were here, I'd just be kicking him in the head.
There you go.
So, you know,
Jay, Nick needs a lot of abuse,
he needs lots of it.
and especially because he's managed to be gone for so long. So by the time he really comes back to us, he's going to get, it's just going to be bucket loads of abuse.
So much.
So much. I mean,
I'm going through withdrawal.
we've started taking notes so that we don't forget the level of abuse. You know?
Notebooks full of count.
We do.
That's right. Notebooks full of abuse for Nick. Okay. And we do that just like we've done on all the others. And again, with this one, you're not going to have to go that far. Wait a minute, see? Hang on.
So, on pitch, both of them. And same thing that we've done on the other strings. We're going to clip the excess, get it out of the way. Make sure you're clipping the E and not the A. Flip it in the garbage. And clip it in the garbage.
So why do you still have this tail?
Do I still have a tail? Oh,
You still have a
'cause
tail.
I missed it, that's why. I missed it, Cat.
Jackie says I don't have a tail either.
That's true. Jackie doesn't have a tail. She made her cameo and that's it. She's like, okay, I'm
Where's
gonna be here for a
Jackie?
cameo.
Jackie?
Jack Blue?
Jackie!
You gonna come in and say goodbye?
There's that girl.
You gonna come in and help the client?
Jackie.
Come take care of the client.
Hi.
There you go.
Oh, there's Jackie. Hi. Can you say hi? No, come here.
Come back here, Jack.
Hi. Is that the best girl? See, I think that we
I
should
am.
just do like Facebook Live with Jackie.
Facebook Live with Jackie. See,
All of the cute things that she does.
people love that.
I agree. Just a half an hour.
She's a lot more interesting than all of us.
She is. I agree.
True statement.
We just showed you Jackie.
Jeez Louise, Nick.
Gosh, Nick.
So
Gosh.
needy.
Okay, so as I was saying, the tone is very similar. Open and closed.
Uh-huh.
There's a little bit of difference, but not a lot. So if I come over here to this one, and that's the power of the
Because
zero
of-
glide fret.
This does not have.
And this does not have a zero glide. Okay, so
Oh, she does need a green bean now.
hear the difference in the tone?
Oh, yeah.
Very different. And that's the difference between resting on a metal fret or resting on the plastic and nylon. And Jackie's been fed already, folks, so she doesn't need, she doesn't need any more treats.
She needs a green bean. Oh, yeah. Where are you, John? He's just now texting us.
Oh, yeah, we've gone way longer than we were going
okay,
to.
Yeah.
What the heck, John?
He did not mean to be watching.
I didn't mean, he didn't mean to be watching. He didn't care. He didn't want to watch us.
That's right.
Doesn't care.
Okay, so that's going to conclude our first live feed. I want to thank you all for being a part of it and interacting with us, and hopefully you had some fun while you were doing it. We sure did. We will be back on Wednesday at 6, hopefully almost exactly on time, although we had to throw some folks out today. Sorry, we love them, and then they understood. And then we'll be back again on
What's
Friday.
up, John?
Now he jumps in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So now John wants to start talking smack. He better be starting to work out. That's what he better be
Yeah,
doing.
you better
Look
start
like
doing
Freddie
those
Mercury.
push-ups. You
I
got
know.
it. You want those arms of Freddie Mercury? You better start doing some push-ups.
Mhm. Okay.
Show us some fishing line tricks.
You of all people should have been watching this, because
Yeah, John.
All right. So again, thanks so much for watching. We'll see y'all on Wednesday. You won't have to look at my face this time. You'll get to look at Kat, who's much more attractive than I am. And then on Friday, you'll get to look at John, who, well, he's John. All right.
He's got the pretty hair.
He does have good hair.
He has to compete with my purple hair, though.
That's true. That's true.
He's got this
You're
whoosh.
so
Okay. All right. Thanks again. Take care. Be safe and be well.
Bye.